Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Welcome back to another episode of My First Commission. Today's guest is Courtney Bullock, who in her rookie year sold 6 homes for over $6 million. Not only that, she was a finalist in the West for the RISMedia Rookie of the Year, and she did win the RE/MAX Rookie of the Year here in Arizona. Courtney, did I nail it?
You did. So I started kind of trying to figure out what did I want to be when I grew up. And real estate just seemed like a pretty good fit for me. I am a people person. I love helping people. And I like real estate. My husband and I have bought and sold homes quite a few times over the years and always really enjoyed the process and just thought, I think I might be good at that. And it would allow me to help people directly versus, working for a corporation where I didn't.
Yeah, so a lot of people that are watching this are probably in the same shoes you were, right? They're in their career, they've been doing it, but they just want something else. I'm just curious, were there any other options for you that you were looking at aside of real estate, or was it always in the back of your mind that real estate was the one?
Really, honestly, real estate was always kind of my fallback plan. And I just never really pursued it or looked into what that meant as far as like schooling and training and all of the time you put into building that business. But I just thought, well, I like it, so why not do that? Yeah.
And were you thinking about that earlier on in your career, or was it kind of more towards the end? Like how long were you considering the switch?
I would say in the last probably year of my corporate career,
oh, wow.
I really felt that pull to do something different and get out of there. I didn't really like the direction that the company was headed and just didn't enjoy working there as much anymore, and thought, okay, I think it's time to finally kind of figure this out and make a change.
And then you decide to change. Where did you do your schooling? How did you do it? Did you go classroom or did you go online?
Right. So I chose ASREB, the Arizona Real Estate School, Business and School.
Yeah.
I have no idea what
I even mess it up all the time.
Yeah. But I did their online courses. Obviously, I had a full-time job at the time. So it was important to me to have the flexibility to do the classes at my own speed, on my own time, when I could fit it in, evenings and weekends. And that worked out perfectly for me. But I learn well online also.
Okay.
I know some people really prefer a classroom setting, but I don't need that.
Yeah, we get very mixed reviews when we're talking and sitting to these guys. Some people are like you that had a full-time job and they were kind of squeezing it in the time, and others were like, I had to quit my job and just go all in and sit in a classroom.
Right.
How did you find it juggling like your life, a full-time job, and studying for the real estate course and exam?
It was a rough couple of months. I took my time kind of getting through it. There were weeks where I found, my personal life was a little slower and I could fit in some more classroom time and it wasn't that big a deal. And I was trying to keep myself on a schedule. I had kind of mapped out like, okay, let's do X amount of courses each week so that I'm done by this time. And there were a few weeks where it was tough to fit that in. I got behind a couple of times and told myself, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I'll get it done when I get it done. But yeah.
And how long did it take you, roughly?
Ended up taking me about 3 months to get through all the courses, evenings and weekends and fitting it in between all of my other activities. So.
Yeah. So you do the course at ASREB online, fit it around. And then how did you find the exams?
As far as how difficult were they?
Were they super difficult?
So no. I thought the school exam was not terribly hard, but I studied and I like to study. So that went pretty well. I wasn't as nervous about that one for some reason. So I think taking that one, I was like, oh, that was easy, no big deal. But then when I went to do the state licensing, that one seemed like a much more daunting process. And, you have to go to a testing facility and it's it's a little more intimidating. That one it was for sure. But I breezed through it really fast and passed the first time.
Oh, so you passed both on the first try?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. And then, so it's no surprise why you had such a killer first year then.
Right.
So you get your license, and then what was the next step? Were you always going to go to RE/MAX? Kind of how did you find the right brokerage for you?
It's kind of funny you ask about that, because I had in my mind, and I had a few other agents tell me, oh my gosh, as soon as you get your license, you're going to have brokerages reaching out left and right, wanting to talk to you, wanting you to come work for them. They'll be recruiting you. And I got my license, and, like a week later, I'm like, I haven't heard a word from anybody. And I just don't think that's really the practice anymore, or at least here in Arizona. So I had to start reaching out to different brokerages. And I had a neighbor in my neighborhood who's an agent with Keller Williams. So I met with him and his broker at their office and kind of heard what they had to say. And you're going to laugh at why I picked RE/MAX. But I love hot air balloons. And since their logo is a hot air balloon, I thought, well, let's chat with someone from RE/MAX. And I actually spoke with 2 different brokers in 2 different offices at RE/MAX before I chose the one that I'm at now. And they run a small office. It felt like a family even back then. It still does today. I love being in a small office. I know some people thrive in a much bigger, busier setting. But to me, I really like their personal touch and, having that connection with them. So that was what led me there.
Fantastic. So you hang your license with them, and you start building a business from scratch.
Yes.
Right. How challenging was that? Like talk me through, how did you get your first deal?
Well, my first deal was actually my parents. So that made it kind of easy. And I don't even know that they were thinking that they wanted to move at the time. And we just started chatting about real estate and, looking at homes. And I think that's where I got my love of moving. Not that they've moved a million times, but they enjoy moving as well and, fix up a home and make it your own. So we just started chatting about real estate and looking at homes and kind of talking about possibilities. And before I knew it, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's buy a new home and then you can sell our current one. And so, they were my first 2 deals.
Wow, that's really cool to get to help your parents out on the first one.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, fantastic. So you get those out of the way, right? Are you still leveraging your sphere of influence, your network? Are you cold calling? Are you going door to door knocking? How does it grow from there?
I guess I've gone a little bit less traditional route and really have just leveraged my sphere and my network for sure. I have never made a cold call. I've never knocked on a door. I've never approached anybody I don't know. So I've really tried to build it ground up from people that I know, getting, referrals and using, my friends and them choosing to use me as their real estate agent. And I've just built it from there. The hard way, a lot of people would say, if you would door knock or cold call, you'd find more clients. And that's just not my personality. So, I've really leveraged my sphere, social media.
Oh, so you're actively posting and kind of letting everyone know?
All the time.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of content do you do?
Of course, it's evolved over the last couple of years since I started, but I do a lot, mostly on Instagram and Facebook. I'm old. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
Those are easy. I do post some stuff to TikTok, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention.
You doing TikTok
there.
dances or?
No dancing. No dancing. Yeah. So my content is really more, I try to make it educational as far as real estate goes, kind of trying to help people figure out, what different things mean or how different things work. Educational as far as like who I am and, what you would get working with me. And then I try to do a lot of local content as well. So I will go eat at local restaurants, not chains, and film a little bit, eat the food, post about it, post a video about the restaurant and my experience there, to make suggestions for people. And I try to find places a lot of the time that people may not know about, which is really fun. I post a weekly events. I do a weekly events post every Thursday, like what's happening this weekend in the area. And so I just try to be helpful.
Yeah. So when you're doing all of this content, right, are you filming it yourself? Do you have someone following you around? If someone's watching this and they want to replicate your success.
Right. No, it's just me. Me and sometimes a tripod and a remote clicker in my hand, or, you know, when I go out to eat, I usually am just carrying my phone around and filming. And God bless my husband for putting up with all of my antics, because he knows, oh, great, you're going to film this place, aren't you? But yeah.
He's like the Instagram husband.
Right, exactly.
Right? He's babe, I need another take. I need another take.
He knows. Yeah, but no, it's just me.
And do you find it challenging to come up with the content? Is it just you're just building it around you and your lifestyle, and you're like, well, if I like it, my potential clients would like it? Is that the process?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I really have leaned into, you know, I do want to attract people who are similar to me and would enjoy then working with me. So I'm not singing, not dancing, not doing anything crazy. It's just, you know, it's me and what I like, and hopefully those people will see that and reach out.
Yeah, and a couple of people that we've spoken to have gone in the other ways, like a lot of cold calling, paying for leads, doing Facebook ads. But you're born and raised here in Phoenix, right? So you've been here a long time, so you've got that network of people in and around you.
Yes.
You said a second ago you get referrals. Now, do you actively ask people when you're talking to them, do you know anyone, or is it just like you do such a good job that they're like, oh, go talk to Courtney?
I'd like to say it's a little bit of both. I definitely market to my sphere. I do monthly mailings to my sphere. That's a coupon to a local, or not necessarily a local restaurant, but somewhere in the area. They get that so that they constantly have my face and name in front of them. And then I do pop buys, which I don't know if you're familiar with pop buys.
No, tell me more.
Little fun gifts that I will drive to my sphere, my former clients' homes, and drop off just as a, hey, I was thinking about you. And they're always, I don't want to say goofy, but goofy taglines that go with them, you know, like Easter candy and, you know, if you have any peeps who need help buying a home, call me, that type of thing.
That's really funny. Yeah, yeah.
It is fun.
And so if someone's watching this, right, you commit to it once a month, every 3 months, is it around holidays?
Once a quarter. Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun. It gives me an excuse to get out and touch base with people, and everybody loves it, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, I hand them their little goodie, and, you know, they usually get a good laugh out of the tagline, and they appreciate it. So, yeah.
No, that's a really interesting one. I've not heard of that kind of thing before.
Yeah.
And you said you mailers. Is that a physical one, or is it email? How do you go?
No, it's a physical postcard. So I use a company that finds deals here in the Phoenix area. And so it's my branding, my face, and it says it's compliments of me. But it's with, you know, last month was Crumble Cookie. So you just had to take that postcard in and you got a free cookie from Crumble Cookies.
Well, now we've met. I'm in your sphere. You can send me some Crumble Cookie discounts. Yeah. Got to get it all the way to Florida though.
Okay.
No, that's really interesting. Is that like something that came from you, your brokerage? How did you kind of come up with these things?
Someone on Facebook mentioned it in a real estate group that I was in. And I happened to look it up to see if it was something available here in the Phoenix area. And they are nationwide, but, you know, only in certain markets. And so I decided, why not try it? And I get a lot of really good feedback from that as well. I have, you know, friends that are like, we look forward to getting your coupon every month because we plan our date night around that. And,
oh, wow.
You know, go out to eat wherever you send a coupon, or go get dessert. And so, yeah, it's fun.
That's really cool. And you said you were in Facebook groups. Was that something you intentionally went out and was like, I'm going to try and leverage these networks?
So the Facebook groups, really, I've joined more. I mean, I'm in some local ones, of course, where I'll comment, you know, and try to help people and get my name out there. But I don't do that a ton. But I joined a lot of real estate Facebook groups when I first started, just to kind of get an idea of what other people were doing, trying to get help with ideas of things that I might not have thought of, like the postcards. I would not have known that existed had somebody not mentioned it in a comment on Facebook. So yeah, I use a lot of the real estate Facebook groups for, you know, ideas and inspiration and kind of figuring out, oh, that's a good idea. I should try that and, you know, see how it goes.
Yeah. So you got the coupon book.
Yeah.
You got the surprise and delight drop-offs. I think
pop buys from.
Was there anything else in the group that was kind of a aha moment for you?
Not necessarily, other than I would say my original social media, you know, kind of beginning, I did less video. I don't like being on video.
And then we turn up and we're like, we're going on a
Here I am.
podcast.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those things. The first time you hear yourself talk on a recording, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I sound like.
Yeah.
Or then you see a video, you're like, that's what I look like. So it took a little while to get used to, but the more people were posting in these Facebook groups about how lucrative that was to get your face and your voice and your tone and your message out there, I started doing more video. So that was good for me because it was a big encouragement to, all right, Courtney, don't worry about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I had to remind myself what I think I sound like isn't what you think I sound like. So it doesn't matter because if we met in person, you're going to hear what you hear.
Yeah.
So if I hear something different, it doesn't really matter. It's all good.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
That's cool. So do you commit to doing so many posts a day, a week? Do you just build it into your schedule? Like, what's your workflow for that?
Yeah. I've gotten a little lax on my schedule for social media posts. I was pretty hot and heavy there for a while, trying to do at least 5 days a week. And I kind of had a schedule I tried to stick to, on Mondays I would post this and Tuesdays that and Wednesdays this. And, it was pretty strict. And I did that for probably a little over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of content.
It was a lot of work because, it's just me. And so I would say in the last probably 6 to 8 months, I've backed off of that a little bit. I probably post 3 to 4 times a week, maybe. And if I'm busy or if I'm on vacation, I don't stress about it. If I only post once or twice in a week, it's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, no. And was it awkward at first, filming yourself in
Absolutely.
public? How did you get over it? Just by brute force, just forcing yourself to do it?
Just doing it. Yeah. And usually if I'm filming just like myself talking about something, of course I do it hiding in my own house or at my office. But yeah, like being out in public and filming restaurants and stuff too. It was just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to do it. It's fine.
I'm an influencer now.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
The cliche thing in real estate is do you go
Right.
in there to sell homes, and then in today's world, you're basically an influencer. You're a content creator.
Right. Content creator, yes. Influencer, I don't think so.
I mean, you're influencing date nights.
Yeah,
as well.
I
So,
am.
you have a bit more pull than you say, giving yourself
Yeah.
credit for. So you have this breakout year, right? You get nominated for the Rookie of the Year by both Remax and then for RISMedia. And now you're into your second year and beyond, right?
Right.
How hard was it to keep up that momentum? What did you learn from in your first year that you're like, year 2, I've got to make changes to?
I feel like I kind of got into real estate at not the best time. The market had already kind of turned and it wasn't easy by any means. And yeah, after my first year and winning the Remax Rookie Agent of the Year for Arizona, I felt an immense amount of pressure. Like, oh my gosh, now I have to do at least as well or better than I did last year. And it was hard, honestly. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself, but also didn't necessarily feel like I knew the magic secret to how to keep that going or to build my business even bigger. And of course, tons of people will say, well, cold call or door knock, and that's just not my style. So I don't know. I really just kind of put my head down and thought, okay, I can do this. I can do at least as many transactions as I did last year. And I did. And then this year, I'm on my way, already surpassed last year. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So year 3 is the best year. It's the
Best year so far.
compounding effect. And we're only, 4 months in?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It's been awesome.
Fantastic. And if you were going to go back to Courtney, right, when you sign up and you take that first class, what advice would you give yourself?
I don't know. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I really, took my time and I put my whole heart into it, quit my corporate job, went all into real estate, which I know a lot of people don't want to do. You have that safety net of having a paycheck. And yeah, I like the way I did it. So I don't know if I would give myself any different advice.
Yeah, no, you say that you kind of gave up the corporate career, the safety net of regular paychecks. Obviously, a lot of the people that are going to be watching this are in your shoes when you made that decision, right?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give them?
Giving them, yes, for sure. I would say, and they would hear this, I'm sure, from any agent, is to make sure if you're going to quit your job that you do have money in savings. I mean, this does take a long time, really, to build up and kind of gain that momentum and get referrals and get new clients and figure out what the heck you're doing. So having money in savings so that you're not completely stressed out, and I didn't do that perfectly. I did have money in savings, and it goes a lot quicker than you realize.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay the bills? But, just trust yourself and try to be as prepared as you can be. I wouldn't quit my corporate job with no money in the bank because that's going to be a disaster. But yeah, that would be my advice for sure, is to try to make sure you've got a little bit of cushion there to give yourself time to build up that business.
Fantastic. And then the other group of people that typically watch this are agents or potential agents that are going through the licensing journey, right? Or they're very new. You've talked a few times about picking the brokerage because it felt like a small team, like a family where that fitted for you.
Yeah.
How important is it as a new agent having the right support network around you?
I mean, that's really everything for sure. I know a lot of new agents, and I really didn't have any guidance as far as picking a brokerage. I just went with my heart and what felt good. And I really think I made the right decision because I love where I'm at. But I hear people talking about, I'm getting recruited to join a team, which is a whole nother experience that I don't have any idea exactly, how the splits work and how the money works and all of that, the workflow on that. So I know that's an option for people. But picking a brokerage, I would definitely say, pay attention to your gut, because if you don't get a good feeling from the people you're talking to, you're probably not going to be really happy there. And it seems like a lot of brokerages or brokers or agents at the brokerage, might promise you the world. So make sure you really understand what you're getting, when you join. The support, the education, if they're going to provide you any leads or any ways to try to get leads other than cold calling,
Yeah.
They're like, here's a list of phone numbers. But yeah, I mean, really just pay attention to what feels right to you so that you're happy being there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think one of the things that is really interesting about your story is that you are not doing the cold calling, the outreach, right? And you've still built a really successful business for yourself doing it your way, right? And what's comfortable for you. And I think that's really important for the viewers to understand going into it, is like there are many different paths once you get into the industry, and you can be successful as long as you put the effort into what you're comfortable with.
Yep.
Fantastic. So looking over the next 12 months and beyond, what does it look like for you? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? If we come back to Arizona in two or 3 years' time, what do you want the conversation to be?
I really hope that I can continue to grow my business, which is getting easier. The longer that you're in it, you do have repeat clients. You get referrals from family and friends and former clients. I mean, I've gotten referrals from people who've never used me as a real estate agent, but who just love me as a person, which means a whole lot too. So, I mean, I hope that really can continue, and I can continue to grow my business to where I can help even more people and obviously, earn a living. I mean, that's the key part for sure. But yeah, I would love to double my business in the next year and, double it from there. And the sky is the limit, really. But if I can help more and more people through the process and make it easy for them, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And if anyone is inspired by your story, right, and wants to learn more about you, how can they get in touch?
So I have my own website. It's CourtneySellsArizona.com. And my handle on social media is at Courtney Sells Arizona. I had to think about that. Yeah. The full word. Yeah. Courtney Sells Arizona. Reach out anytime.
Fantastic. So if you are watching this and you do want to get in touch with Courtney, tap the links. Courtney, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. And I think, guys, that's the pod. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to unlockingrealestate@colibrirealestate.com.